Welcome to Spiritual Dialogues with Father Udon de Castro. We are here at Cariana Lay Monastic Community. I'm your host, Brother Lodi, and with us is Sister Tachi. Sister?
Yes, regarding the past episode, we were showing about the signs of outward and spiritual signs of being Catholic. And now, Father, you will explain how does a person or a church become Catholic? Or
Yeah, so we are commenting on what Pope Francis said that the Philippines is a very Catholic nation. And we were presenting how to make a nation Catholic. And it is expressed really in the Gospel of St. Matthew in the last chapter. Christ precisely gave the procedure to the apostles on how to make nations Catholic. And the way to do it is a priest must first be Catholic with the four visible signs. Four visible signs. Or bishop must be Catholic by having the four visible signs mentioned in the Nicene Creed. And they will show these signs visible. They are visible, so it can be seen. They show this sign to the people
Yes.
and preach that this is the way to go to heaven. Those signs. To go to heaven, you have to have those four signs.
complete, no? Not only three,
Ah, yes, of
four.
course.
Okay, all four.
If it's only three, why did Christ make it four?
I mean to say, baka say, oh, I'm one. Okay, Father.
So that's how to do it. So the priest must first show the sign and tell the people, you have to have these four signs to go to heaven. The bishops should do exactly the same thing. You have to have these four signs to go to heaven. Then the people will ask, okay, we'd like to go to heaven.
How do we have this so-called four visible sign? What should we read and study or meditate on?
No, these four visible signs can be learned just by lecture. I can describe it to you in 10 minutes. They're visible. So
it's
it can
easy.
be,
Yes,
it
yes.
can be easily.
Maybe we can understand it.
Yeah, you can.
How do we know that by heart we are already
That's
entering
that's a
the
harder
church?
thing.
That's the second part now. Second
I
part.
see.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the parables. The parable. So when somebody looks at a priest with the four signs, or somebody looks at a bishop with the four signs, they will ask, "We like to do it. We would like to have the four signs and go to heaven.
Yes.
Where shall we get it? Those four signs.
Or how do we get it?
Yeah, how do we get it, or where do we get it? And so you have to tell them, enter the church. Enter the Catholic Church.
Yes,
But it is not that simple, Father. You said that the church symbolizes something, the Church of Christ.
Yeah, that's why.
We enter the building, but not the heart of
Yeah,
Christ.
that's why it has to be explained to them.
Yes, Father.
And you have to give them the place. This is how the church look like. It's a red house. And the way to go to it is through Oakland Drive, the street. I'm using the comparison of Hilary Belloc because even during his time, he said that the Catholic Church did not know, most of the Catholics, not the Catholic Church, but most of the Catholics did not know the color of the house and did not know the address.
you never
So
find.
in short, they were not able to find the real.
Of course, they will never find. And that's the state of the Catholic Church today.
But I think that is the responsibility of the priests and bishops for us lay people to show where the house of Christ is located.
Except the problem nga is if they are not doing their responsibility because they do not know it, that's the
Taken
big
that point.
problem.
Okay, clear.
Maybe that's the big problem now. They
Do not know.
lack.
It is.
Okay.
So the big problem is that the priests do not have the four signs, four visible signs. And the bishops do not have the four visible signs. And so most Catholics in the Philippines are entering the wrong house and the wrong address.
Yes.
They're joining all the Protestant sects, born again, and all these other Protestant sects started by lay people.
That is what's happening now, Father.
It is.
They're being misled.
All the members of the new Protestant sect in the Philippines are all ex-Catholics.
Yes.
So how did it happen? All of these people like to go to heaven. How come they are in the wrong religion and the wrong sect and so on?
Because they were not fully thought about how to go to the
Well, precisely because the priests do not have the four signs. The bishops do not also have the four signs. So if they do not have, they really do not know where the house is, where the Catholic Church is,
So they cannot point.
and what is the address. They cannot point anywhere.
It follows, Father. Correct.
As a young Catholic, I was proud of being a Catholic, of course. Studied in a Catholic school, in a Benedictine school, where, of course, the president of the Philippines, Duterte, also studied. In fact, I was an officer of the school when he was there. And we all presumed that we were Catholics. We always presume. After all, I was a Benedictine monk, so I presume I was a Catholic. Forgetting the fact that you should have those four signs to be able to claim that you're a Catholic. And not only that, I've been preaching, forgetting the fact that before you preach, you must present your credentials that you are a Catholic priest.
Yeah, Father, yes. It
You have
follows.
to.
Yeah, you have to.
Like, for instance, I have to present that I have the four signs, visible signs.
Yes, Father.
Why should people believe that I'm a Catholic priest if I do not have the four credentials? The four visible signs. And the same thing with a bishop. Before any of us should accept a person as a bishop of the diocese, of a Catholic diocese, he has to present his credential that he is a Catholic by presenting the four visible signs mentioned in the Nicene Creed. But did you, Brother Lodi, ever demand your bishop to present his credentials?
No, Father.
No, neither did you demand your parish priest to present his credentials.
Yes, Father.
What if that priest or that bishop were Protestants? You would have followed them.
Not knowing that they were Protestant, if that's what you're saying.
Not
Father.
knowing because
Yeah, you don't know
you-
that
you
there
did
are no
not
sign.
demand.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
you could have been following a Protestant leader.
And that is what happened in Europe. That half of Europe were following Martin Luther,
Yes.
who was a Protestant, and the ordinary Catholic was not demanding from their preachers their credentials that they are Catholics by demanding the four visible signs. So the Catholics were turning Protestants without even knowing it.
Yeah.
And now most of Europe are really Protestants. Even the Catholics who pretend to be Catholics
Yes,
are Protestants who really,
Yes, not knowing that they are Protestants.
without knowing that they're Protestants.
Yes. That's the sad part.
Maybe the Protestant theology is much easier to understand, to follow, than what the
truth of it.
priest should have, the four visible sign that we do not see in them.
Yeah, well, the defect really is we never use those four visible signs to check
No, never.
our priests, to check our bishops, to check our pope, and to check ourselves. Because if we do not know or we do not have those four visible signs, we are not Catholics. Because those are the four visible signs of a true Catholic.
My observation is that at present we don't have it because we need to explain to us.
Yeah,
for
we never
this-
asked even the explanation of those four.
And at this point, Brother Lodi, you and Sister Tachi would not know yet
Yes, Father.
what it means to be one, holy, Catholic, apostolic. And so you cannot judge whether the Philippines is Catholic or not, because you cannot even judge whether your parish or your diocese is Catholic or not. You cannot, because you do not know or you do not understand yet what it means to be
be one.
one, holy, Catholic,
The four
apostolic.
visible
Yes,
signs.
yes.
What I don't understand, Father, is that why don't they explain this to the people
They don't. No,
during the homily?
We just mentioned
They
because
don't know
they,
it, don't know it
they do
either.
not know it because they don't have it.
Yeah, yeah.
My
It's
God.
really something.
However, so the fact is we always took for granted that we are
Yes.
Catholics,
Yes.
we are baptized, we studied in Catholic
Yes.
school and so on. We belong to a nominal Catholic in name, parish in name, Catholic or diocese. So we took everything for granted
Yes.
without checking. And yet the
Yes.
Catholic Church says you have to check whether those people have the right credentials, and the credentials is the four visible signs, one, holy, Catholic, apostolic. Fortunately, I got wiser, of course, because I studied theology and so on. I kept on teaching the people that the four signs of the Catholic Church is one, holy, Catholic, and apostolic. That's in the Catechism.
Yeah, you just like we did that too.
Yeah,
you just
studied
memorized
that.
it and
You
verbalized
just
it.
memorize it, but you really never understood it, and you never check.
Yes, Father.
But I had to check.
That is your job. That is your responsibility.
Not only that, because of Vatican II.
That one.
After Vatican II, there were so many changes. We started to be confused, as people today are. We were so confused of what's Catholic and what is not.
Oh yeah, they changed.
Well, what's written in the Vatican II that confuse us?
So many
So
things,
many, yeah.
so many things. And of course, there is a document in the Vatican II describing the Catholic Church. There's a document. It's based on the writings of Saint Robert Bellarmine, which is very good. It's supposed to describe the Catholic Church, but still they didn't know how it looks like. So there was really a big confusion, a big problem. So I studied, fortunately, the four signs of the Catholic Church, visible signs. But what helped me was the 15 signs of the Catholic Church, or marks of the Catholic Church, written by Saint Robert Bellarmine, which is just an expansion of the four sign. Instead of 4, he made it into 15.
My God.
But it's strange because it was always in Latin. So I couldn't read it.
Then how can we understand it? Three
Yeah,
people.
Though I
It's only
took Latin.
Yes, yes, I see what you mean. But it was really meant to come at this time.
Only at this time. Of course, I was expecting the Jesuits to translate it, because Saint Robert Bellarmine is a Jesuit saint. But the Jesuits never translated it. That's why, probably that's the reason why they do not have the four signs also. They do not even have the 15 signs described by Saint Robert Bellarmine. It was translated by a layman.
And when, Father? When?
Just
Recently.
a few months ago, probably.
Imagine.
Only 1 minute, Father.
And so with that, I began to understand more what are the four visible signs, because Robert Bellarmine did it in a very nice way. He said, these are the signs of the true Catholic Church, but if you're not Catholic, these would be the signs you will find in you, in your church, in your religion. Did you see how nice it is?
Where can we read that writings
In that book, it's already translated in English.
Okay. Okay.
in the Catechism?
No,
No,
it's a
no,
book of
the book of
Robert
Robert
Bellarmine.
Bellarmine. It's called The Controversies, about controversies, but the subtitle is The 15 Marks of the True Church.
We don't have that. Well, we can find it, Father.
Oh, you can find it anywhere
Yes,
in the
yes. We'll let you
bookstore. Yeah.
Are we almost there? Okay.
30 seconds, Father.
So those are the signs. So now we can check what Pope Francis said. He said that the Catholic Church in the Philippines is very good state. We have to check now whether the Catholic Church in the Philippines is really good, whether it's really Catholic. And unfortunately, we can also check whether Pope Francis is Catholic or not.
Yes, Father. We should.
And we should.
Yeah.
Because he is supposed to present his credential as a Catholic to be a pope without we asking or demanding for it. He's obliged to present his credentials without anybody asking for it.
Thank you very much, Father. Thank you for watching Spiritual Dialogue with Father Don De Castro. And next episode, Father will be discussing what he said today, so that we will understand the four visible signs of the real Catholic in us. Thank you very much.
Hosanna, Hosanna,